Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep, and I mean really deep, into the mind. We're going to break down the intricate mental chemistry that creates every single one of your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences, from one moment to the next.
All right, let's get into it. Here's the plan. First, we'll look at the mind like it's a chemical reaction. Then, we'll cover the unbreakable laws that govern it. After that, we'll check out the mind's periodic table of ingredients and see the actual formulas for both the bad stuff and the good stuff. And finally, we'll talk about how you can become the chemist of your own mind.
Okay, first up, let's establish the two fundamental components that have to combine, kind of like chemical elements, to create every single experience you have.
It's a pretty wild question, isn't it? I mean, have you ever just stopped and wondered what a thought or a feeling actually is at its most basic level? Like, what are the real building blocks of your entire inner world?
So the first element is called citta. Think of this as your core consciousness, the raw ability of your mind to simply know that something is there. The best analogy? It's like a glass of pure, totally clear water. It has potential, but it doesn't have any character on its own.
And that's where the second element comes in, Cetasikas. These are the mental factors. And if citta is the clear water, Cetasikas are like these potent, colorful dyes that get mixed in. They're what combine with that raw awareness to give every moment its unique quality, its texture, and its ethical flavor, whether that's anger, joy, confusion, or wisdom.
Now here's the thing. Citta and these Cetasikas, they don't just mix together randomly. Their combination is governed by four incredibly strict, unbreakable laws. These laws make sure they always act as a single, unified event.
So these four laws basically say that consciousness and its mental factors are totally inseparable. They pop into existence together, they vanish together, they are always looking at the exact same thing, and they share the same physical home in the body. You just can't have one without the others. They are a single, indivisible package deal in every single moment.
All right, so now that we know the fundamental rules of combination, let's look at the actual ingredients the mind has to work with. You can think of this as the mind's own periodic table of elements.
According to this incredibly detailed system, there are a grand total of 52 distinct mental factors, or Cetasikas. These 52 ingredients can arise and combine with consciousness to create the entire spectrum of human experience.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. These 52 factors are not all created equal, not by a long shot. They fall into three main groups based on their moral quality. You've got the variable ones, the unwholesome ones, and the beautiful ones.
So this first group of 13, they're ethically neutral. They're like the flour and water of the mind, the base ingredients you can find in any recipe, good or bad. And this group includes 7 universal factors that are the absolute non-negotiable bedrock of any conscious moment. Things like making contact with an object, the feeling of pleasure or pain, and the intention behind it all.
Then you've got the second group, the 14 unwholesome factors. These are the toxins, the dark, murky dyes that muddy the water and defile the mind. They only show up with negative states like greed or hatred. And here's the kicker. At the root of every single one of these unwholesome states, you will always find moha, or delusion. It's the kingpin.
And finally, on the flip side, we have the 25 beautiful factors. These are the purifying agents, the vibrant, clear colors that elevate consciousness and make that water sparkle. They only arise with wholesome states of mind and include amazing qualities like confidence, mindfulness, and wisdom.
So how does all this chemistry actually work in practice? Let's get our hands dirty and break down the real-world formula for a very common unwholesome state.
We're going to analyze the precise formula for a flash of greed. You know the feeling? Imagine you're walking past a store, you see something you really want, and boom, this joyful but totally misguided desire just arises out of nowhere.
So the recipe for that exact moment is a very specific combination. It starts with all 13 of those neutral variable factors as its base. Then you add the 4 universal unwholesome factors, and remember, that includes delusion. And finally, you add the star ingredients for this particular state, the factor of greed itself and the factor of wrong view, which is that mistaken belief that if I get that thing, I'll be truly happy.
So you add all of that up, and what do you get? 19.
That single fleeting moment of wanting is actually a complex chemical event created by the simultaneous explosion of 19 distinct mental factors. Okay, now let's completely flip the script and contrast that with the formula for a powerful, beautiful state of mind. You're going to see just how different the recipe is.
This time, imagine a moment of pure, unprompted generosity. Maybe you give something to someone who needs it, and you do it with genuine joy and a clear understanding of why it's a good thing to do. The recipe for this beautiful state is wow. It's so much richer. It starts with the same 13 variable factors as a base, sure, but instead of adding toxins, it combines them with all 25 of the sobhana, or beautiful factors. We're talking wisdom, mindfulness, compassion, the whole shebang. So in total, that single moment of clear, joyful generosity is composed of 38 distinct mental factors, all working together in perfect harmony. That's almost double the complexity of that simple, brutish state of greed.
When you put them side by side like this, the difference is just staggering. The unwholesome state is pretty simple, really. Just 19 factors, all rooted in delusion, and it just leads to more clinging. But the wholesome state? It's far more complex, it's rich, it's composed of 38 factors, including real wisdom, and it leads toward clarity and freedom.
And this brings us right back to our core analogy, doesn't it? Consciousness itself, the chitta, is just like pure water. It's neutral. It's the mental factors, the Cetasikas, that arise with it that determine its moral color, its quality, and ultimately the impact it has on your life.
You know, understanding this mental chemistry isn't just some intellectual game. It actually gives us the power to observe these ingredients in real time, to recognize which factors are coloring our mind from moment to moment. And with that knowledge, you can become the chemist of your own mind. The power is right there, in the ingredients you choose to cultivate. So what will you create?